human.
Y'all don't know football.
Y'all don't know football. All right, we're about ready to get the gizzard. But get the gizzard in loving fashion the day before Thanksgiving.
He was coming in hot when I called him.
When is he not hot? He's a Softy in Seattle. At Softy KJR via the X machine. Follow him if you are so inclined.
It's like 9 in the morning and he's screaming.
At Softy KJR. Now, Softy in Seattle is on the audio, as they're making us say, but on the radio, 3 to 7 Pacific, 93.3 KJR out Seattle way. It's an iHeart juggernaut, and Softy is the flamethrower. Hey, Softy, good morning. How are you?
Hey, Paul. I don't understand how anybody doesn't get fat as a house this time of the year. I'm sitting around my house, and I'm telling myself I'm going to fast until Thanksgiving so I can stuff my face like a pig on Thursday. Mm-hmm. And all I end up doing is eating everything in the house that I'm saving to cook for Thursday.
Agreed.
How do people not get through the holidays just putting on massive amounts of weight? I don't understand it.
Well, David, Softy, beloved Softy, you're talking to somebody who has not felt his ribs in 30 years. So therefore, I'm...
Hey, you know what, Paul? I didn't want to be the one to tell you, but yeah, you might want to call... You might want to call Weight Watchers if they're still around. No, I'm kidding. You're a svelte but sexy man. You are a good-looking individual, Paul. Don't you think otherwise?
Honey, you got to stop that. If somebody like after a Vikings loss or losses, all 7 of them, if they're with me and they sense that I'm a little down, and they'll be like, "Come on, Paul, pick up your chin." Well, my response is, which one?
Well, the best way to a man's heart is through his mouth, man. There's no question about that. But, yeah, let's get to it, dude. I don't know what you guys are doing out there with the Viking football team, and I want to talk about it. So let's go.
Softy, before we talk about that, here's a question I've never asked you, and I legitimately have wonderment with it. Now, your name is Dave Mahler, Mahler, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so how did you get the nickname Softy?
I used to look like you.
Oh, really? Because you were paunchy? Somebody actually called you Softy?
You're the one that set it up, man. I mean, you put it right there on a T for me, for God's sake. No, man, I used to weigh 270 pounds. I used to have bigger boobs than my wife, for crying out loud. Are you kidding me? When my wife would go bra shopping, she would shop for 2 and not just for 1. And then I lost a bunch of weight. I went to an organization called 3010 Weight Loss for Life, which is now out of business thanks to Ozempic, by the way. And I lost almost 80 pounds about 10 years ago. So,
got it.
Yeah, I used to be gigantic, man. When I go to the DMV to get my license renewed, they had to take 2 pictures and put them side by side to fit my face on my driver's license. That's how fat I used to be. So that's how I got the nickname Softy.
Wow,
you must know.
You got to be kidding me with that prattle. That was second to none. All right, we will satisfy your desires. Now, your nickname being Softy, is that what they call Seahawks quarterback Sam Darnold when he plays in pressure-filled games like a couple of weeks ago against the Rams?
No, they call Sam Darnold 8-3. They call Sam Darnold the Magic Man for what he's been able to do here in Seattle. And they call Sam Darnold the mistake in Minnesota because they let him walk for nothing. I don't get what you guys are doing out there, honestly. I see a football team that 3 years ago had Nick Mullins. They got rid of him. They brought in Sam Darnold. He wins 14 games. They get rid of him. And now you're 4-7 with J.J. Carson and company. So really the question needs to be asked, and I'm not trying to criticize. I'm not trying to slam. I'm not trying to make you feel bad or insult anybody. I'm honestly wondering what in the heck the Vikings are doing out there at the quarterback position. I mean, look, I realize that you draft the kid in the first round. You want to see what he's all about, but the Green Bay Packers drafted a couple of guys in the first round. They had them sit for a couple years until they were certain that they were ready. The San Francisco 49ers had a guy named Steve Young that sat behind Joe Montana and didn't play until it was obvious that Joe Montana's career was coming to an end. The Arizona Cardinals drafted a kid named Josh Rosen in the first round, realized he wasn't what they thought he was, and then went out and got Kyler Murray the next year at number one. So when you've got the bird in hand, when you've got something that is a known commodity at 14-3, letting him walk for nothing seems like a really, really bad idea, Paul, at the most important position in sports. And look, I realize that Sam Darnold did not play well in the de facto NFC North Championship game a year ago and the playoff game against the Rams. I understand all that. But first of all, a couple of things. Number one, Sam Darnold does not have a lot of data in big-time games at which to look at because he hasn't played in a lot of big-time games, right?
Yep.
And people talk about the Ram game. They talk about the Lion game. How about the way Sam Darnold played in the two games against Green Bay a year ago? Were you happy with those performances from Sam Darnold? Did you not like winning 14 games and going to the playoffs last season? Was that an issue? Did you think that you could do better? Is that why you let the guy walk? I mean, if Sam Darnold had played well in the Ram game, if he had played well in the Lion game, he's probably making $55 million a year instead of $35 million a year. So either way, the Vikings lose by letting him walk. You do not let guys go that win 14 games. You do not let guys go that are in the MVP conversation for a majority of the year. So the Vikings' mistake is the Seahawks gain. Here we are at 8-3. You're 4-7. And by the way, you know who else stinks right now? Geno Smith and the Las Vegas Raiders with Pete Carroll. This is another example of John Schneider pulling the plug at the exact right time at the most important position in sports. He did it with Russell Wilson, and he did it again with Geno Smith, and they're in the playoff hunt and the NFC West hunt because of it.
Okay, look here, you snot-nosed softy. We called you to talk about your team. I recorded with you for 25 minutes yesterday to talk about my team. Why have we turned the tables and the day before Thanksgiving we're catching all these strays back here?
Hey, we can go 35 minutes if you want. I'm not on a time limit. We can do whatever you want. I'm just telling you that this game has that theme on Sunday. It's not just Sam Darnold against Minnesota. It's Sam Darnold against his former football team. And am I concerned about the way Sam Darnold's going to play, to answer your question, because you're getting impatient? I can hear you. I can hear you breathing. I can hear the nostrils opening up in your nose. I can hear your brain starting to twist and gather some steam. You're getting annoyed at me. I don't want to do that, especially on the day before Thanksgiving. Am I concerned about Sam Darnold blowing it and playing poorly in big games? Sure, I am. But I'm also loving what I'm seeing from Sam Darnold the rest of the way. And here's the thing, man. Really, the poor football that we've seen from Sam Darnold, when has it occurred? It's occurred in the last two games against Arizona and against the Rams. And he's got 7 combined turnovers in those two games, yet the Seahawks have also scored 63 points, and they were a 61-yard field goal from Jason Myers away from actually beating the Rams and going 2-0 in those games, despite Sam Darnold turning the ball over 7 times. I'd rather have Sam Darnold do this now in mid to late November than in late December, early January. So let's hope he's coughing up this hairball right now and he's figuring it out before the games get really big later in the year. That's
very, very fair analysis. And I caught the tail end of that game after the 4 picks, and I thought Sam, the man who used to be on the fan, looked cold-blooded on that possession that got them close for Myers to have an opportunity. Very fair. Now, your coach, Mike McDonald, 12-2 on the road, 6-8 at Lumen. What's the read on that?
Yeah, it just hasn't been the same place for the Seahawks, man. You know, and I don't even know, honestly, Paul, if the national media has picked up on it. You know, you go to Lumen Field, you turn on the broadcast, CBS, Fox, whatever, and you hear people like my buddy Kevin Harlan, you know, Kenny Albert, you know, Kugler, whoever. Oh, this is a house of horrors. This is one of the hardest places to play in the NFL. It really isn't anymore. Ooh. You got to look at what they've done in the last 4 or 5 years, and this was a problem for Pete Carroll. This is not just Mike McDonald. Part of the issue is the Hawks have been fairly mediocre in the last 3 or 4 years, so that kind of stuff's going to happen. And then number 2, it's also been kind of an invasion of visiting fans the last few years, man. Niner fans, Cardinal fans, Buffalo Bill fans. We'll see how many Viking fans show up for this game on Sunday. It has not had the same hometown feel that it's had in the last few seasons, man. So it's got to stop. I mean, he's 12-2 on the road, McDonald. He's 6-8 at Lumen Field. So They lose this game to you guys on Sunday, and they go 6-9 at Lumen, and they lose as a big favorite at home. We're going to have a real problem because this is kind of a thing right now for McDonald. You lose on Sunday, it's a real thing for McDonald.
10.5 favorites. Would you give it? Would you give it, take it, or pass?
I think this weekend I probably would take it after what happened with the Seahawks in Tennessee. I think they're pissed off about the fact they let Tennessee back in the game on Sunday. They were heavy favorites on the road, given 13.5. It was the biggest road spread the Hawks have ever had as a favorite, by the way, in franchise history. And I just don't think those come through very often. But at home this weekend against Minnesota and your buddy Brosmer, not Brosmer,
Thank you.
Brosmer, I would say take the Hawks and give the points. I think I'd probably parlay it with the under, to be honest with you, on Sunday. But I think this is a game where, just like the Arizona game and just like the Saint game, I would expect the Hawks to run the Vikings out of the building. I would not say that, by the way, if the Seahawks had destroyed Tennessee last Sunday. But I think that game is stuck in their craw. I know the punt return really pissed off Mike McDonald on Sunday, so I would think the Hawks come out looking for blood this weekend.
Would you make it a 3-team parlay and include your beloved Huskies on the money line against the Oregon Ducks?
No, but I would take the 6.5 for sure. Oregon's not that good, Paul. They're just not. This is a team that needed double overtime to beat a really bad Penn State team on the road earlier this year. They got a bunch of offensive linemen that are hurt. They got wide receivers that are hurt. Washington might be as healthy as they've been the entire season with guys like Jonah Coleman and Denzel Boston and the freshman Raiden Vines-Bright coming back for this game on Saturday. So rivalry game. Damon Williams is a totally different quarterback at home than he is on the road. He's thrown 6 interceptions, and all of them have come away from Husky Stadium. So, yeah, you want to parlay? You want to get really creative? You want to hang your you-know-what's out there? That's your balls, by the way. Give me a 3-teamer on the under, the Hawks, and the Dogs plus the 6.5. Let's go.
Softy from Seattle, KJR. The station is an iHeart juggernaut, and the blowtorch is Softy from 3 to 7 Pacific on a KJR, part of the vast and ever-expanding iHeart audio family. After the Mariners went down, did you even watch the Epic World Series?
I watched the World Series. I did not watch the Seahawks-Texans game that night. How about that? It was the same night as Game 7.
Right.
I was at Jimmy's. You're fully aware of the magic of Jimmy's on First across the street from Lumen Field.
Love it.
Watching Game 7, watching the baseball game, distraught, brokenhearted, had no desire to go across the street to Lumen Field and watch the Seahawks and Texans, so I went home. Didn't even bother to watch a minute of that football game, man. That's how bummed out I was about what happened to my beloved Mariner baseball team. But, yeah, I watched the World Series for one reason, to root against Toronto. Worst fans in sports. Absolute biggest keyboard cowards in professional sports in North America. Yeah, I used to think that Oregon fans were the worst, but Toronto takes the cake. These people are bad.
Wow.
They're bad people, and they mobilize, and they come after you wherever you are. They hunt you down.
They mobilize.
They organize, all right?
Yeah.
Yeah, those Canadians, man, they're sneaky bad people. So I was not sad at all to see Miguel Rojas pop that home run to left field and give the Dodgers that chance to win it in Game 7 in extra innings. I know we're not supposed to root for L.A. as the evil empire, but once you've experienced what Toronto fans really have to offer, you can never go back. I hope you people in Minnesota, the fine people of Minneapolis, never have to experience what I did because it's scarring. It leaves you in shambles, and it's not something I would ever want anyone to have to go through.
On behalf of iHeart Audio and Radio and FM 100.3 KFAN in the 9 to noon production, we would like to apologize to everybody in Winnipeg as part of one of our affiliates. The views voiced by Softy do not necessarily recognize or are acknowledged by 9 to noon or iHeart or KFAN. All right. Hey, are you a Gonzaga basketball fan? And if not, why not?
Absolutely not.
Why?
Because they're 300 miles away.
Oh.
They're in Spokane. They're not even in Seattle. They may as well be in frickin' Idaho, for God's sake. Are you kidding me?
That's great.
You grow up in Seattle, you root for one team and one team only, and that's Washington, okay?
I got
but your parents may have gone to Washington State.
We love you, Softy, and I look forward to seeing you this weekend.
All right, bud. I'll see you, man. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
And
Welcome back, 9 to noon. Chris Finch, head coach of the Minnesota Timberwolves. He joined PA to kick off the show today. Wolves at the OKC Thunder this evening. I believe tip-off's right around 6:30 p.m., and you'll get to hear it on the free iHeart Radio app. But PA chatted with the head coach. We're going to play that interview back now. And PA kind of started things off like, hey, I noticed Shai Gilgeous-Alexander kind of popped up on the injury report, maybe questionable with an illness. Are we paying attention to that?
Hey, good morning, PA. He's listed as having some illness, so we'll see. We fully expect him to play, though. He doesn't miss many games, and that's one of the great things that we love about him in the league is he plays every night.
Is that a procedural thing as the NBA goes? Like, I mean, if he has the sniffles, got to make him questionable in case it gets worse, then we have to scratch him and he wasn't on the injury report?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a protocol to it all, and it starts the day before. I think at 4:00, everybody's got to kind of give a status update on their roster, and then throughout the day on game day, this is for transparency's purposes, and so yeah, it's just all part of what's normal protocol.
These Thunder do I mean I think we're 18 to 20ish into it, something like that. Do they play any differently without Jalen Williams?
Largely the same. And they're just another year into their connectivity, their chemistry, their understanding and reading of each other. I feel they have a little better ball movement, but I don't think that's to do with not having Jalen in the lineup. I just think that's, I think Shai's moving the ball a little quicker, and that's creating even more, shot opportunities for his teammates. Because Shai's obviously facing, a lot more double teams and multiple defenders looks, and they're doing a really good job. So they're just doing more of the same, but even better.
Yeah, you mentioned the word connectivity, and I mean they from the championship season last year when they beat the Pacers, they're pretty much rolling back everybody from that team, and in all sports, I would imagine it's key to be able to keep stuff like that together year after year, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, they have a great roster situation here. They're still under the tax. They have a lot of players on the similar timeline whose new contracts don't kick in until I believe next year, and then they'll face some financial questions on how they go forward, how deep they want to be in the tax and how long they want to stay there. And these are things that we all have to deal with as a reality of roster building. But for right now, they're in a little bit of a purple patch, as the British would say, where things are really lined up well for them.
And with you guys, Phoenix and Sacramento, were there, or in your estimation, absorbing it, taking it in and getting past it, what were some common threads to the late game defeats?
Yeah, I mean, obviously execution down the stretch, game management stuff, those little small pieces of the game that are not small at all, but the things you got to do to win the game. We had two losses that should have been wins. All credit to our opponents for making the plays to beat us. We didn't make the plays that we needed to make. Those losses are largely on me as well for, not handling the end of the game in the way that I could have done or should have done. So, but there's nothing left to do but move on. We got, 60 more games to play, 60 plus more games to play. And as I said the other night, you can't let one loss become two. And I do think we fell victim to that a little bit the other night. And that's, certainly not the mindset you need to be in as you move forward. So,
Chris Finch, coach of the Minnesota Timberwolves, weekly 9 to noon, courtesy of Second Harvest Heartland and 2harvest.org. And man, Anthony Edwards has taken the scoring to a new level, at least the last couple. What's the read with his game of late?
Yeah, I mean, what I'm enjoying about his game of late is been really efficient. He's shot the ball well. His 3-point volume is back up where it was last year. He's getting to the rim, getting to the free throw line. He's doing a lot of those things well. We got to continue to find ways to get him cleaner looks at times with all the double teams he's facing. And, he's in a little bit of a kind of a vein right now, which is good to see. I mean, he went through a couple games. I know where he was frustrated. His three didn't fall for him. But as we said at the time, it was always ever going to be a blip, and he usually responds to those moments with big numbers.
As a coach with a high end superstar like that, say in close games, say against Phoenix, maybe more so against Sacramento, how do you balance? This is the best guy on the team, which subsequently probably gives us the best one-on-one chance to win, as opposed to ball movement when he does get double teams.
Yeah, I think it's we did get a little stagnant down the stretch in both games, but he's a guy that we want the ball in his hands, and from that we're going to create good offense. I mean, he's surprisingly, of all these high-end superstars in the league, like his shot percentage, basically the number of times he actually takes the shot in those situations, is a lot lower than some guys, and that is a result of all the double teams that he does face. So we got to make him pay when people double.
Hey, do you guys do anything as a team for Thanksgiving, or do you kind of scatter before the Celtics game on Friday?
Well, we're head home tonight, so everyone will be able to spend Thanksgiving with their family, and which is great. We're back in town for a couple days for the weekend and play a big back-to-back doubleheader coming up. So it'll be nice to be in town for the holidays. Are
there any recommendations or any mandates on amounts of food people can eat day before a game? That includes coaches.
Eat as much as you want.
Right.
Absolutely.
Enjoy it
Eat
and
as much as you want.
Enjoy it and give thanks. And your Eagles host the Bears Friday. And that's before your Celtics game. Have you warmed up to Black Friday football? Because I know you love the NFL.
Yeah, no, I didn't really realize they were playing on Friday until somebody said it yesterday. So, Friday we'll have practice in the morning and then be able to enjoy some football. Then got a big game, Ohio State, Michigan on Saturday. So it's really good weekend of sports, as it always is.
And your media relations conduit and dear friend Aaron Freeman, big Bears fan, Chris Finch, big Eagles fan. How's that relationship working out right now?
Well, we have a great relationship, but we'll see how it ends up on Friday and into Saturday. So, but fully expect a bounce back win by the Birds.
Yeah.
And also won by the Vikes.
Yeah, Winter of Free, as in Aaron Freeman, has a little bleep talking to him. And I didn't realize that until his Bears beat my Vikings, and I had to look at like 6 texts, and then finally was like, holy cow, Winter of Free, we got to slow down with this stuff. But his squad's doing great, and hopefully yours does tonight. Let me ask you this. Do Hartenstein and Holmgren play together a bunch? And like overall, how do they complement each other?
Well, they're a great duo. They're both really skilled. Hartenstein's an unbelievable passer, has a great feel for the game, can make tricky shots around the rim. Excellent defender. As we know, Chet can really protect the rim on defense as well. So they have great interchangeability there defensively. Then offensively with Chet, he's going to stretch the floor. He's a guy who's going to put traditional centers under pressure with his skill set. And, they do a great job of playing together. It gives them unbelievable size at the rim, but also they create problems at the other end of the floor. So it's almost a perfect pairing in many ways.
This tonight, Chris, this is an NBA Cup game, right?
It is. It's the final NBA Cup game, so still alive and well in the Cup with a win tonight. I believe we clinched going through, but I'm not 100% sure on that, but I do feel like I haven't done the mathematics on some tiebreakers, but I think it gives us a great chance to go through for the win.
I laughed because I tried to this morning, and it's like Minnesota lost, Sacramento this, Minnesota win, point differential that. So do you guys need to win tonight to keep the NBA Cup dream alive?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
No doubt.
Well, the half. What do the players get if they win the? It's $500,000, right?
I'm not sure what it is.
Something
honestly,
like that.
I thought it was more towards $1 million, but I'm not 100% sure.
That of course matters to players. I'm not in locker rooms, and of course you only monitor one locker room, but you know what I mean. I mean they circle their wagons, around things like this, right?
Yeah, I think it's been a great product for the league. Creates early season interest. It gives, it's another platform for them to be able to promote the game and link up with a media partner to do so. Guys have taken to it in the league. They understand it. They feel that little extra motivation. They're almost all like do or die games, which you don't play many of those in the league, even though, at the end of the day, they kind of all are, or they don't all have that feeling.
Have you seen some of the scores in these NBA Cup games? Holy cow, just astronomically high.
Yeah, well, points differential matters. So when you have a chance to pour it on, you're pouring it on. I think that's the one thing that's a little different. Having coached in Europe for a long time, and you'll play like two-legged affairs, like a home and away, and then points differential matters at the end of it, or those types of different tournament settings that they have overseas. That's just part of the equation. But for here in American sports, we don't really stress that. It's not something that we kind of build our competition around. So it is an odd dynamic. It feels a little unnatural, unsportsmanlike even at times. But, when you're up 35, 36 points, and you got to keep going for it because you never know in a tiebreaker situation what it's going to come down to.
Coaches and players just kind of have to handle that, right? I mean, you got a little more than $500,000 at stake per player. And, I shared this example yesterday. It was recently with the Orlando Magic. They're killing somebody, man. They're up by like 17, 19 with a minute to go. And Suggs hits a three. And then the other team goes the other way, and Franz Wagner blocks the shot. Like up 21. Yeah. I'm like, are you kidding me with this?
Well, in some ways, isn't that how you want it to be played all the time? But it's professional sports. Like if you don't want to be beat by 35, don't be beat by 35. We're not here to protect each other's feelings. So it's never bothered me, no matter what the competition is. If you don't want to get your butt whipped like that, then do things to prevent it. So.
All right, lastly, too, and then happy Thanksgiving. With tonight, what's key with Go Bears game this evening?
His defense against the two bigs, of course. They're just countering obviously what they're doing. We have to play some on the perimeter. Being early in his help to try to bother Shea. Shea's one of the best attackers in the league, as we know, and he gets wherever he wants to go past the first line of defense pretty seamlessly. So just presenting himself there. And I think, smart offense, spacing is huge against these guys. They generate a ton of turnovers. They will really, be big at the rim. So Rudy kind of reading space around that was going to be also big.
And lastly, what about Jalen Clark? What are you thinking of him lately? I noticed I didn't get a chance to see a lot of the Sacramento game, but I noticed his minutes were cut a little bit.
Yeah, we got TJ back, so we're trying to work him into the lineup. Jalen's fine. He's a big part of what we're going to do. We said from the beginning that these young guys, the situation that they're in this year, their roles will be consistently inconsistent, and we're in a discovery phase. Sometimes you got to go through these periods where you got to figure out what you got, who can do what. You got to give them extended games to do it, and sometimes they're going to play more minutes than others, and sometimes that might be the right decision, and sometimes that might not be the right decision. But it is what it is. And at the end of the day, we're trying to get them all seasoned up so they can help us over a long season into the playoffs.
Happy Thanksgiving, my brother, and I'll call you next week.
All right, you too, PA. Have a good one. Thanks.
That's head coach Chris Finch with PA to open up 9 to noon today. Podcastable, of course, after the show if you missed any part of it. And once again, via the free iHeartRadio app, you're going to get to hear the Wolves at Thunder tonight. Alan Horton on the call starting around 6:30 p.m. Final segment, 9 to noon is next.
Everybody, have a great, blessed, warm, peaceful, and wonderful Thanksgiving tomorrow on behalf of 9 to noon and all of us here at KFAN. Yours truly would like to give thanks to Steve's Appliances for the marathon segments and much more. And Brian and Sarah, the marathons, the feast, the Christian fellowship. This is a small business, and it's Small Business Saturday. Standalone small business for 70 years. Awesome people. Ask about the free 2-year warranty on these big-time appliances. Thank you, Steve's Appliances, on behalf of Nordo and yours truly.
Yeah, they're terrific.
We will be at Buffalo Wild Wings Mall of America Friday. We follow the power trip. They're going to be at the Rotunda, which means they'll be hanging from the rafters. 7 to 9, I believe, for the power trip.
Yep.
7 to 9 a.m. in the Rotunda, hanging from the rafters, big silver Christmas trees, big stage, big crowd. Then 9 to noon, Buffalo Wild Wings MOA for the Friday football feast. That'll take place this Friday. Can't wait to see everybody and chat some ball. Have a great Thanksgiving. Thanks for listening to 9 to noon. I'm Paul Allen. Big Daddy Khan's here to put a wrap on the show.
The game is over.
Good stuff.
Now, what did I do wrong?
Time for 2 more.
9 to noon in the land of the living. We want to wish all of you a happy Thanksgiving and all the sports things that are boggling our minds. We have decided to focus on being kind, like, yeah, we could hammer on JJ, but I'd rather think about Riker having perfect days, the injuries adding up, much to our dismay. But how about Jalen Redmond? I mean, what else can you say? Rather thinking of something Rudy can't do, celebrate 40-point nights from Ant. Versus sweating not hitting the dump button, think about tomorrow, feasting and being a glutton. Have an amazing thanks-filled holiday. Back on Friday at B-Dub's MOA. 3 hours of frivolity, purple-biased facts, and pumping up the big league debut of Max.
Let's play hockey!
Podcast today's Paul Allen Show, or listen back to previous show and interviews by going to the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.